All right. Well, this is a tour. You'll have to pardon me, I'm a little under the weather, so you can probably tell my voice isn't what it should be. Anyhow, yeah, this is something I've been working on since I haven't been streaming. Something I've been able to do during the day, anyways. I built it in Fallout 4, which is, by the way, stream's not for kids. Hope this finds you well. I'm doing okay. Um, anyways, yeah, stream's not for kids because I'm liable to teach them all the finest curse words. Some time ago, I was talking to a few people, among them Judah and Adama. And honestly, I've said for I feel like years that I've wanted to do some kind of some kind of thing tantamount to a talk show online. Hey Plaz, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Where the hell is our ship? It's out there somewhere. But it's raining, so I'm scared to go to the pier. No. I'll be back to sailing. As soon as I'm feeling a little better, I will be. Only really, I just did this, frankly, on a whim because I had to edit the intro, add music to it, and essentially the only way I could figure to do it was to live stream, which I've done before for short videos, and it's essentially because the laptop that I would use for editing went kaput some time ago, and so I don't have editing software. So I try to use Elgato and YouTube and Upload Studio, godforsaken Upload Studio. Anyhow, this is kind of an effort to get to that point where I'll do sort of, for lack of a better word, sort of a talk show, a late night show. And I've bantered around ideas on how to do it for some time. Before I get to the content of the show and the inevitable help that I'll need with it, I figure I'll show you a tour, show you what I've done thus far. This is, I mean, it's all for film, right? So the doors hardly work the way I would want them to. One opens one way, the other opens the other way. Outside, it looks like there'd be something. There's really nothing. It's just a hodgepodge. It's just truly so. When you look out the door, you get the illusion that there's something going on out there, but there's not. This is the main. I suppose this is the ticket area, right? There's no NPCs here now, although I have messed around with the NPCs. Anyways, on this save there are none because it's going to be the smoothest, easiest to present. Ticket area, right? Shelves will probably be more fully stocked. Um, in essence, I didn't even have to do these rooms because they won't be captured on the streams. And the name of it is going to be Late Stream. The Late Stream with automatic. Pretty, spent a lot of nights awake coming up with that name. So yeah, not much to see here in terms of tickets and reception. But seeing as I built the actual studio, I wanted a lobby to it. Now the exterior of the building is in fact not an exterior. Again, it's all just kind of an illusion, right? That's and you got all sorts of electronics up there. You got things sticking out of the walls on both sides. The only reason these lights are here is because I thought you could see them from the doors, but I guess you can't unless you're leaning up against them. Anyways, let's get to it, shall we? before we entered the actual studio, yeah, for some reason I went so far as to start the bathrooms. Pretty barren because I didn't even want to finish them. I'm thinking to myself, why would I show them at any point? Why during a show would the host take you to the restroom? I don't know. There's some ideas there. However, he might take you might have some shots inside the little diner. Oh, I forgot to erase him. He's just kind of a stand-in. That's not gonna stay. Um, but yeah, here's the little diner area. The only thing that I really enjoy about it is I like the HVAC system, even though it should be hollow on the bottom. I don't know. Maybe I'll revisit it at some point. Um, and the pictures. That's a mod. But it seemed appropriate, right? Like guests you've had on the show that have certainly eaten here. I suppose this would be more of a commissary than an actual, a restaurant that people would come in off the street and eat at. What do they serve here? Why, none other than cigarettes. The late stream with automatic. Now, the other idea for her name was the COVID cavalcade. Because the host is going to be wearing a mask. Everybody wears a mask. Because it's the healthy thing to do. Alright, but behind the scenes, it's because then you don't have to worry about the NPCs moving their mouths. The host doesn't, I don't have to worry about moving the character's mouth. Same thing goes with the guest. And yes, I want guests. I suppose that's where viewers would come in. Look, it's Alfred Hitchcock. Who's that? Nat King Cole. Anyways. Oh, here's the studio. It's pretty damn dark, which means I need to head up to the control room. Yeah. Well, the house lights are on, so I suppose I can show you the seating. I forgot about this one. Anyhow, with what I've filmed so far for the show, there's actually more than just the two cameras, but those two are mainstays. Some of the seating sucks. I figured that out. These two rear rows should be elevated, but they're not, and I don't really care. Because, since it's the COVID cavalcade, there won't be an audience. The audience, I guess, will be on YouTube. That's who we're playing to. You know what? The house lights are on, believe it or not. So let's first check out Otto's office. Again, fairly simple. I'm not an excellent builder or anything. But for my purposes, this works. I guess this is something else that I'm kind of proud of, is the light box vanity. You've even got the picture of some doll up there. So that's where Otto gets all gussied up. Although, one might ask, why does it matter? Because of the mask. I suppose there was a time before everyone had to wear the mask, right? And those are all the dresses he wears late at night when no one's watching. Frankly, because the mod didn't have suits hanging from a clothing rack. So I'm stuck with the dresses. Control room. Yeah. As you see, the control room overlooks the studio, as it should. I think there's another mannequin in here. It also doubles as the writer's room. It's a fairly quaint studio. It's not a lot of real estate. You'll get shit like this where things are kind of glitching through the desk. I'll fix that later, though, not necessarily now. So yeah, doubles as the writer's room, and then of course, this is where they monitor the show. Make sure it goes well. Now, a lot of it they would actually watch on monitors. There's all the reels just kind of blitzed right into the wall. Um, but they can sort of see the stage. Actually, let's go ahead and light it up. Hell, just light all three. So that'll be stage right, which from our vantage point would be on the left. Stage center, and stage left, which from the audience's vantage point would be on the right. We'll get down there and take a look. So over here, stage left, that would be that's where the band is. Not much to it. Only mod I could find with instruments, so it's gonna have to suffice. I really had hoped to find electric guitars and whatnot, but that's alright. I've seen acoustics that plug in, I suppose we all have. Hell of a drum kit, too, ain't it? Hey, Dawn, I changed my mind. Since that thing went live, I figured I'd just go ahead and post a tour of the the studio. When the lights are on stage left, that lights up as well. Guess it just kind of goes with the band. The band, they all wear white tuxedos, which, as to be seen in the episodes and with the introduction. Oh, sorry. Like I said, I'm under the weather. What can I do? Stage center, you got the star where the host is supposed to stand as they deliver their as I deliver my opening monologue and all that good stuff. You know, I think excuse me, I think I'm gonna have to implement a mod where I get rid of the Pip-Boy. It just doesn't work because a lot of times I'll have NPCs playing auto. Over here, stage right, obviously recognizable, right? This is where the interviews will take place. Who is she? I don't know. You know, I'm almost thinking she'll stay. I'm almost thinking, yeah, she'll stay. She's got to, almost. Uh, let's have a seat. Got your phone for when we want to prank people. I do have some games in mind and whatnot. Not just arcade games. Oh, take a load off. See the monitor right there. You know, on any talk show, the host can see a monitor. Usually it's more obscure than that, but on the Tonight Show it wasn't. Johnny Carson, you could see it right there. In fact, sometimes he'd have, when it was guests that weren't celebrities, sometimes he'd point it out to them, especially children. I remember one. Forget the kid, but the kid kept looking over to the right, and Carson said, "What, you see yourself in the monitor over there?" And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, how do you think you look?" And the kid said, "Cute." He was right, too. Personally, I want it off, though. That's Milton Berle and, oh god, what's his name? What? It escapes me. Anyways, for all intents and purposes, I think they're management. That's kind of a play on. David Letterman always had a picture of one of the bosses at NBC up on his wall. And I always thought that was funny. This was when Letterman worked for NBC, of course. Got the little tables. I think I need a table right here too. At least on the Tonight Show, Carson always had a table there where he'd keep props and stuff. The phone's there, again, going with Letterman there. He'd pull a phone out of his desk occasionally. And he'd also keep an ashtray under his desk, but we don't have to obscure it. We'll just keep that on the desk. And King, how are you? Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, he was in The Odd Couple. Yep. What was his name? And then he did some, oh, he did movies with Walter Matthau, too, didn't he? Oh, you know who it is? It's Jack Lemmon. Is that his name? Is that who that is? Thanks, Don. Yeah, it's Jack Lemmon. And I believe that's Milton Berle. He's awful young in that picture. I'm used to an older Milton, um, but yeah, that is the set of the show. I decided to have plants on this side, but not on the side where the band is. I don't know why. It's because you don't really need it, right? In fact, from the audience perspective, you can hardly even see the bottom of the windows. It's kind of nice because a few of the band members in the intro I did, you can a few of the band members aren't even playing instruments; they're just sitting there. But I think it looks better with a fuller band. I truly wish there was brass, but it doesn't matter. The intro song doesn't have all those instruments, anyways. Back here, really nothing. I mean, this is truly just for what's the word I'm looking for? Utility purposes. For instance, a lot of suits and stuff that I'll be using for the NPCs. So I don't know if you'd call this a dressing room. It's certainly not meant to look impressive. And there's a chem station because a lot of the stuff is crafted, right? Some kind of, I enlarge these curtains. This is what they are. They're curtains. So that's just kind of a side effect of that. And I think there's one on the other side as well. This space is unused. Because, like anything, I mean, my intent is my intent is to use it, not to necessarily what's the word? Not to necessarily do a playthrough using this stuff. The only shitty thing is I'll still get attacked by outside forces. I should probably put some guns up there, but wouldn't that suck during a live stream with the intent of doing the late stream? Suddenly hear small arms fire. And that is about it with the actual show, with the actual set, I should say. There is an exterior. I pointed out that the exterior is nothing. It's a shell. For instance, there's the damn bed, right? I mean, you see what I mean? It's nothing. In fact, if I could get up top, I could show you the. Well, suffice it to say, up top is just exposed conduits and whatnot. And again, especially now, you can see that the exterior is just a facade. Really just intended to look a certain way while looking out these doors. But once you step outside... Oh, now I'm repeating myself. And this thing turns pink. I've seen that many times in my old Fallout days, and I forget really how to fix it. I think a hard reset might do that. I don't know. I guess the babe left his mitt there. Maybe an autograph ball. Who knows? So yeah, that is it. Now, here's my intent for it. So I just did the intro, and I think it worked. It might need some more stuff thrown into it, so it might go through one more round of editing. And then I've come up with a lot of stock footage for the monologue, and some band stock footage, because they're not going to change clothes. The host isn't. I'm not going to change clothes. I had thought about that. Again, with the masks, I'm going to blame it on COVID, but truly, it's just so I can talk and talk and talk. My character's mouth doesn't have to move. And the guests will all have to wear masks. So here's kind of the deal. I'll open the show, just as you expect, with a monologue. You got the intro with the band. This is the first spot. It's the Ed McMahon of the show, the Andy Richter of the show. I don't have one yet. I am trying to solicit a specific person. In fact, the sad thing is I haven't really talked to him about it yet. And he may say no. I would not surprise me if he did say no. Um, but there's somebody I kind of want as my I don't want to call it a sidekick, but the thing is, it's a bit of a commitment. I don't know how often I'll do the late stream, but whether it'll be once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that. It truly depends on the guest, but it also depends on that guy on the announcer, um, because he'd have to be there. He'd have to do the announcements at the beginning of the show and during the introduction. So I don't know. I'm gonna, like I said, I've got somebody in mind. I'm gonna talk to him about it. If he says no, I'll probably put out a general call and see if I can sucker somebody into joining me in this endeavor. So the introduction happens, and of course, as is traditional, there's jokes. And I don't do politics, right? But I think for this show, there will be some politics. We'll try to keep it rather neutral, in terms of making fun of whoever. I fuck, I'm not gonna be, you know, uh, how can I put this? Again, sorry, kind of impromptu, failing to put my thoughts together. I suppose what I mean to say is, if you watch Late Night now, I mean, they're all left wingers. They're all just after Donald Trump all damn day. And yes, I'll make fun of Donald Trump. I mean, it's my God-given right. But and I'm not gonna make it my job. And I'll certainly make fun of the libs too. Um. Anyways, so after the monologue, you'd have, well, there'd be games. It's time to play. For instance, here's one I'll run past you. Jack Lemon, yes. Aren't you compliant there? With what? With what? Anyways, I don't know what would come. Like take. I think Carson sometimes would do a skit before he even introduced his first guest, Letterman, and these are my go-to guys. Is old Letterman. I don't mean old man Letterman. I mean young Letterman, but NBC Letterman and early CBS. That shit cracked me up. I still think the man's hilarious, but he kind of went off the rails. And Johnny Carson, I mean, that guy's just timeless. And going back to Jack Benny, I mean, that's where I got the COVID cavalcade. I think he had the Camel cavalcade because of Camel cigarettes. Anyways, I mean, I've always been obsessed with late night hosts and all that jazz. But anymore, there ain't a damn one of them that's worth a worth a damn. I mean, shit, Seth Meyers has his own late night show. Yeah, and you say that, and I think to myself, I'm sorry, Michael Myers? Wait, now, who now? Seth MacFarlane? Oh, Seth Meyers, really? Well, that's odd. He wasn't even funny on Saturday Night Live. Not to say Saturday Night Live is funny. I'm getting off course here. The games, for one, I considered arcade. I might just, set up after the monologue, try some of the Fallout 4 arcade games, and keep a record of my high score somewhere here in the studio. Probably just put it up on the wall. Or I thought of other fun games like More on History. Trying to think. Carson had More on Movies. More on History is where I ask. I award points that are worth nothing, and I ask historical trivia questions. And the right answer is always wrong. The most absurd answer, my favorite absurd answer, gets the points. Another one is this is an idea I had. Let's say I've got a couple people involved in the show. Well, the masked. Oh, yes. Thank you. See? I mean, they've got multiple purposes. I mean, under the hood why I'm wearing them. But I think COVID's a damn good excuse. It's certainly keeping contemporary, keeping with the times. And there's a plethora of masks. So that's a good deal. The games, I gotta mention, I've got a few games in mind. But one that really sticks out to me, and tell me if you appreciate this, Raiders of the Forgotten live stream. One, it's a play on Raiders of the Lost Ark. Uh, Two, the initials are ROTFL, which I think is clever enough. So what you would do with Raiders of the Forgotten live stream is, in the course of the show, I would look up a Fallout live stream. In fact, it doesn't even have to be Fallout. I would just look on YouTube as the stream is underway, as we've got a guest and our announcer and myself. And I'd be looking for, I mean, shit, you could do it now. Look up Fallout 4 live streams. What's playing now? You're going to see well over a dozen of them with only one viewer, maybe 0 viewers. So that's where the Raiders come in. We all go into their live stream, and what we do is we do arbitration. And when I say arbitration, I mean it in the most vague way possible. So, for instance, imagine you're streaming. You every now and then you get a guest, a viewer. Maybe you get 2, maybe you get 3. But you're a new streamer, so you don't get a lot of traffic. Then all of a sudden, these people start joining, and one of them speaks up and says, "No, what's going on here? What's the trouble?" Now you see somebody comment that, you might be like, "There's no trouble. I'm playing Fallout 4. Welcome to the stream." But then somebody else that joined your stream answers, "Well, I was just heading down the thoroughfare, and this guy comes out of nowhere and just nails me, T-bones me." And then somebody else speaks up and says, "I had the right of way." And it just keeps on in your chat, and we see what happens. And I don't know if we win the game if the host of the live stream says, "Are you guys talking about a car accident?" Or take another one. People show up in your live stream. Says, what's the situation here? What's going on?" And then the first person says, "He's a deadbeat. He left me. He's not paying child support." And the other person that joined your live stream is saying, "Yeah, that bullshit. One, I struggle to work. I do give money." And essentially, what we do is we raid someone's live stream, and at the end, we thank them for giving us a space to work out our problems, and we come back here. And I'm just curious how people would react to that. Would we get banned from their live stream? I think they would win the game if they figure out exactly what the 3 of us are talking about. And I would fully expect my viewership to go to 0 while we're in this other person's live stream. So that's one of the many games that I have in mind. Raiders of the Forgotten live stream, which is essentially just bullshit roleplay arbitration in another person's stream just to see what the hell they have to say about it. So everyone plays out a story in chat, essentially, and you only need 3 players. You need the 2 people that apparently have a problem. I don't know if it's, like I said, example 1 could be a car accident. Example 2 could be a custody of children. You name it. You name it. I mean, honestly, the options are endless. I'm not at a loss for further options. It could just go on and on. We would quickly plan it out ahead of time. I'd essentially, like, if it were, let's say it's King and Dawn and myself, I would say, "Okay, I found the stream. Here's the link to it in my chat. Dawn, you are the waitress. You swear you got the order right. King, you ordered something and you didn't get your order. I'm the manager. Let's go into this guy's live stream and let's sort it out." And we pretty much go from there. So that's, there are other games though. I mean, shit, I thought about, I already mentioned, there's the game you could play, What's in His Inventory, where we have an NPC and I put something in his inventory, and the chat's allowed to ask questions, and we figure out what the fuck's in his inventory. Stupid shit like that. Dumb games that Might be kind of fun. Pass the time. All right. So, anyways, past that, you get to your guest, right? So, with the guest, we need Hawk. He won't care if they ban him. I won't either. I mean, that's the joy of it. is we just go for it, and you never know. Things could go poorly. Things could go well. I mean, we may just find a new person in our community because of it. Because they might say, "Man, the way I met you people was the most bizarre route ever." That might end up being my favorite idea with the games. I've got a few of them. Sad Libs is one. I've got a description for that. But VARPing, which is like virtual action roleplay, which I could also explain, but I'll save it. I'll save it for the actual late stream. Um, as for the guest, so I'm gonna need one guest per show. Other than that announcer, um, one guest. And I don't think there'll be roleplay there. I think humor might just come to us naturally, depending on who the guest is and whether they want to be humorous, but they don't necessarily have to be. For these, politics is not necessarily taboo, because if somebody is my guest and they want to talk about politics, they can. But then again, it is going to be back and forth. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to ask like questions like, if somebody wrote a book or made a movie about your life, what was a pivotal moment that you think worked out for the best or for the worst? In fact, an example of both or something. Questions like that. Questions in terms of what's going on with your channel, which harkens back to Meet the Neighbors with G4, who kind of, boy, I was inspired by that. I had already been batting around the idea of doing a late night show. And the same with Mike and Gary. They had I guess you would call it well, it was a stream, but isn't there another word for that? A vlog, I suppose. Um, but and I have expressed that to Mikey that I always thought that was damn cool. But that I wanted to do something where it had more of a late night feel. So you have a guest now. Let's say Joey wants to. We'll say Joey Lawrence wants to be my guest. Yeah, the kid from Blossom. I don't know. I just pulled that name out of my ass. Well, for one, if they play Fallout, I'd take a look at their Fallout character, whoever they are, whether it's the Builderman with JPIC or Anna Wim's character or whoever, and essentially I would find an NPC that's slightly, same gender at least, but they're gonna have to wear a mask. Maybe they do, but they'll essentially be able to tell me what to dress them as long as if it's in the vanilla game, it's done because I'll just cheat and spawn the shit in, right? And dress them like that character, except for with a mask. Um, so I will be able to get a carbon copy of the character. If they don't play Fallout 4, it doesn't matter. I'll just get an NPC, put them in a suit or a dress or a pantsuit, and put a mask on them and sit them there. And that's what people will be seeing. They will be seeing an NPC dressed as myself seated there, and an NPC dressed as my guest seated there, both wearing masks, and boy, you'll have to get used to this shot. No, you won't, because actually I will have different angles and stuff. I've already figured out a way on how to do that with some pre-recorded material. So that's how it'll work. It'll just be a basic interview after the guest. I can't help myself. I want a music segment, and I don't care about monetization. So yeah, I'll be able to download and play a video that's frankly not mine. Now, on the one hand, I've been in some bands. Though we don't have videos, we do have music. So I could always come up with a video and use some of our original music. I could turn to local bands, try that route. Um, some local bands that I'm familiar with, some of those guys that I know do have stuff on YouTube. There's other people that do music on YouTube that I will plead with to allow me to promote their stuff. Just for one segment, you know, after the guest, you've got your musical segment. So I want to do that as well. I might also do big bands. Not bands that'll get me copyright strikes, not that popular. But either old, obscure music or contemporary music that is still rather obscure. Because I don't give a shit if I get, about the demonetization. I do give a shit about copyright strikes, though, about actually strikes on my channel. But there's a fine line there, and I know how to test the waters using YouTube. You just upload something unlisted and see what happens, and if it works, then you go for it. In a live stream. Who would be Ed? Well, that would be the announcer. So far, it would be over here, but yes, if we remove whoever this chick is, I think even if you try to sit on this side of the couch, you end up sitting over here. Yeah, you do. It's funny how it works like that. What the hell is going on here? Okay, well, anyways, it's kind of glitched out. I think because she's standing there, I can't zoom out. Rather, sitting there. And then after the musical act, we conclude the show. And I'm thinking this won't be as long as my playthrough live streams. The late stream will be, I'm thinking, an hour, but probably more like an hour and a half, maybe borderline 2 hours. If we're having too much fun. And if segments go over. So that is my plan, and then the band plays us out. I've got the end credits ready too. Frankly, it's recycled end credits that I came up with a long time ago that had kind of a late night feel to them. So that's what I'll be using. And that's my story. I will be soliciting people. I will be looking for volunteers for guests. Lap dancing. um. So yeah, that that is my intention with all of this. We'll see how it goes. Um, and frankly, we'll see if we can get the people. You know, it truly depends on if folks would be interested in being involved in this. So I will leave this video up if people watch it tomorrow or in the future and they have interest. Let me know. Although I do have somebody in mind as an announcer, as an Ed McMahon, if people have an interest in that, let me know. In Discord, in the comments for this video, wherever. And I already said guest. Oh yeah, music. The same thing there. If you're familiar with music, if there's music that you're sure is not going to get a copyright strike, but will probably get me demonetized, you can suggest that too, and I'll check it out and see if we can get it on the late stream with automatic. Before I depart, I'll show you the exterior. What do I mean by that? I don't mean outside here. I mean we'll have to travel to Hangman's Alley because to save space, really. I mean I'm not trying to I'm not trying to destroy my frames per second or anything with this because I know the intent is what really trumps everything else. So I will show you the exterior of the Roxy Theater. Roxy Theater because of a streamer and uploader named Sexy Biscuit on YouTube that I've been watching for a long time. I love me Sexy Biscuit. And Sexy Biscuit calls himself Roxy. And frankly, when I was building this, I was watching one of Roxy's live streams. And I just didn't tell him, but I'm gonna have to tell him. Hey, I named a theater after you. But it's pretty modest. The stairs are just there to. There's the Roxy Theater. Now, the only thing I really don't like about the Roxy Theater is on the exterior there's 2 pairs of double doors. On the interior there's only 1 pair, so I don't know. You know, make sense of that if you will. I do like well, I don't really like how those things disappear, but it doesn't matter. OMG Studios Midnight Show hosted by BY, put the Y in there. Let me get the right angle, there we go. Hosted by Automatic. Nothing on this side because it didn't matter. Again, it's all for show, right? Anyways, that is what I've been doing as I've been a little under the weather. And last week I wasn't streaming because I had family staying here. My nephew was staying here. Got to get rid of the Pip-Boy. Not do that. Thanks, Dawn. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I do hope when it does happen, you know, maybe you'll be interested in being a guest on the show sometime. And if not, I at least hope you'll join me in the Roxy Theater. Not the facade, but the actual theater over there in Starlight. And but again, anybody watching this now or in the future, get a hold of me if you want involved. I'm gonna conclude it here and keep this relatively short. Besides, I gotta pass out. I got a cold. Sent the kid to preschool last week, was his first week. And, of course, every year he's been bringing home something. Yes, my son's been going to preschool since he was 2. Anyhow, that is my story. That's where I'll leave it. Don King, thanks for stopping by. Anybody else that this stream finds, I hope it finds you well. This, of course, is Automatic for Automatic Games. If you like this, if you are subscribed, I will give you a puppy. It'll be dead, but I'm gonna get it to you. People might unsubscribe based on that. Scratch that about the dead puppy. It's just, I just appreciate subscribers. Bye-bye.